What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to the den. I apologize for the tardiness, and I'm actually gonna have to do a thing in like a minute and a half, and just excuse me, in just a second, but it won't take very long. I'm making sure all the proper buttons are clicked. Get these, and I didn't even put them on. It looks much better, right? Do. Deacon Miss Bill, Kenneth, Cologne, and Unique Rides. What's the motherfucking deal? How are you all doing this evening? Well, I hope we got a very interesting topic that we're going to get into tonight, right? No, I put it up maybe about 30 minutes ago. It may have been about 30 minutes before the thing. Denline is not open yet. Yes, about 30 minutes ago. Shout out to John, my favorite New Yorker, Jay Chastain. What's the motherfucking deal? And so what we're going to get into tonight, y'all know I like to bring a couple of videos to go along with the topic, and then we're going to get into it, share some of my thoughts. And this actually, I had a different topic I was going to go with, but we were in the Discord talking about some things. Shout out to Dan, shout out to Miss Bell. No shout out to Broderick because he contributed absolutely nothing to the conversation. But I thought that this would be actually a good topic to kind of continue on with what we were talking about pre-stream. Those of you who are Houston fans, yes, the Rockets are not looking good. It's okay, right? It's okay. They can dunk and stuff. So anywho, we're going to get into that. Give me just one moment. Like I said, I got to take care of one minor thing while I'm doing. I should have like a pause thing, right? So I don't, but I should, and I got to make that. I got to, like I said, I got to redo just everything. So you can guys enjoy this little dancing gentleman until I return. It won't take me that long. All right. We're back. I think we're back. Let me fix this. Give me just a second. We're back. So anyway, like I said, tonight we're going to talk about privilege, right? And privilege, as I have learned, as you may have seen on the thumbnail, is not just, for the whites. It's not just white privilege. Privilege can be male privilege. It can be height privilege. Apparently there is pretty privilege. There's skinny privilege. There's a multitude of privileges that people possess that, some have it, some don't, right? It's just this natural born privilege that you're blessed with. And, the cosmic overlords have decided to bless some with and others without, right? So we're going to talk about those various privileges, what they truly mean. I'm going to eat popcorn because I have a bad popcorn eating habit. And we're going to discuss all this. So I hope you guys are bulking. And I hope you guys have your popcorn, right? Because it's going to be a very entertaining show. Like I said, I got a couple of videos Yeah, I am going to show you guys. I am glad. See, that's why I always keep the camera off, because you never know what kind of tomfoolery I might do. We've had so many accidents. I really got to fix this. This is actually like a very dangerous situation. Surprised what just happened has not happened before. Anyway, I'm not going to tell you what happened. You're just going to have to imagine what just took place and how unfortunate it was. Anywho, let's get this party started. So like I said, I have various videos that we're going to share, that I'm going to share with you guys tonight. I haven't fully watched all of them. You know, all of them are not pertaining to privilege. Actually, a couple of them that loosely tie into privilege, right? You know, because the thing has been going on with Netflix. They had their walkout today, and because the trans people feel like they're not getting enough privilege. They feel like Netflix doesn't have enough trans representation, right? Even though apparently there's a significant number of them who work in various places. They say the reason if Netflix wants to show the trans people that they really care, they need to all get a raise. You know, if that's the case, well then just, if I was a regular straight worker, I'd just become trans tomorrow. You gotta give me my fucking raise. Give me my trans raise, I'm gonna sue. All the other trans got the raise. Like, this is what I say this anyway. A trans thing's super weird. Let's get it. Let's get onto the watching screen. That's the watching screen with the purple background. You know, we're in the purple stars, the purple stuff. So can there be trans privilege? I think there's trans privilege because everybody's afraid to say anything. You know, as soon as Dave said one thing, you know, everybody's lost their minds. They're alleged that he's attacking them and he could get them killed because of the term TERF, trans exclusionary radical feminist, right? They said that word gets them killed. How? I'm gonna find a trans person to have a conversation on the Den, and we're gonna discuss things, and it'll probably be the last episode of the Den because I'm gonna try my best not to, but I'll probably say something, and it'll be very mediocre, mild, and tame, and then some individual's gonna get very upset, cry about it, and get the show canceled. So maybe I shouldn't do that. Anyway, where's the privilege folder? There's a thing that happened. Let's talk about it, right? Let's discuss. I might not have saved the one I wanted. Shenanigans and shucks. I might not have, or it might have went into the wrong folder. Let me see. Shenanigans and shucks. Yeah, put in the wrong. I don't see the one I'm looking for. I got some wild stuff for y'all though. Not tonight's episode, but I got some wild stuff for y'all. I think there's the main one. I might not have saved it like I thought I did. Anyway, let's just get into it. Let's do this, right? Yeah, I don't think I did. Oh, here it is. All right, cool. Here it is. I put it in the wrong folder, and I know I saved it, bitch, but I didn't know where I saved it. Right? So we're going to talk about some things. The things that get a lot of TS kills, you're not revealing who they are, threatening to expose someone else for who they are. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, a turf, yes. And shout out to Adam, shout out to 17. Let me see if I missed you. You know, I ain't this year. Jay Chastain, Miss Thang. I appreciate that. I feel hot. Appreciate the super chat, love, strong and grand. And I agree. Like, let's be honest about this stuff. What I think gets a lot of them killed or has them committing, you know, self-termination, is simply the mental battles that they deal with, right? I don't think it's anybody forcing anything. I'm like, now again, they have those predators, they have those ones like the one I did a couple videos back a few years ago in Dallas, who got into that big fight in the middle of the apartments, and then like I had a lot of transgender people attacking me for the way I approached that. Hey, I did it the best I knew how. Then I actually showed I was genuinely saddened at what took place, but it was not, you know, it wasn't unexpected almost, because when you have that kind of behavior, you're not held accountable for the actions in which you participate in a certain given situation. Things will continue to spiral out of control. That woman was a transgendered prostitute, but nobody wanted to address that, right? And a situation sparked out in the apartment complex. Everybody said, "Oh, this person they were attacking her and all this other stuff." But what happened was this transgendered person ran into somebody's car and tried to flee the scene of the accident, and then it escalated into something else. So instead of saying, "Hey, you know what? Hey, I'm at fault here. Let me handle my business. Let me take care of this like any normal person should, exchange of insurance or whatever else it may be," it escalated because that person, kind of started a fight, whatever, whatever. But nobody wanted to talk about that. I would think that would be a form of privilege. Nobody's talking about that. You started this and everybody put the excuse on everybody else. And then that person went off and I think a while later, after they made her, I'm following the rules here, they made the transgender individual a icon. They later on, this transgender individual was found killed on a street where known transgender prostitutes operated. Late at night, get into a random stranger's car, was killed, right? And so these are the type of people you put at the forefront of the movement. Instead of helping that person get the help that they needed, instead of prostituting themselves on the street, it is what it is, unfortunately. And I believe that same gentleman had killed several transgender individuals who were known to be prostituting, but people don't want to speak on that. Can't say the word prostitute anymore, sex worker, whatever you want to call it. So unfortunately, that led up to that. Now, getting back to where we were about privilege, right? Let's get some expert opinions on privilege, the various thoughts and perspectives on privilege, right? What kind of privileges exist out there in the world? Who benefits from them? Who doesn't benefit from them? I've been doing my own due TikTok diligence. It's the craziest place on the internet. But let's check it out.
Why you shouldn't be offended when someone says you have white privilege? Because it doesn't necessarily mean you're racist. There's all kinds of privilege in the world, and having it doesn't make you a bad person. Denying that it exists can, though. Take the fact that I live in the U.S. For all its flaws, U.S. citizens do have an unprecedented amount of personal freedom. That's a privilege that someone living under a dictatorship or a totalitarian regime does not have. I readily acknowledge this and would never minimize the suffering of another person by refusing to admit that I carry privilege in this area. Even as a black person living in the United States, I acknowledge that colorism is a very real thing. A darker-skinned black person will have a very different lived experience than I do. That's a privilege that I carry. And of course, there's all kinds of privilege that has nothing to do with race or ethnicity. Pretty privilege, straight privilege, wealth privilege. There's clear factual data around these advantages, and pretending that they don't exist just makes us look like the ostrich with its head stuck in the sand. Having white privilege doesn't mean that you haven't had your share of hardships in life. It just means that your skin color isn't one of the things making those hardships worse. Why you should
So why does it matter? Like because a certain fact or feature isn't making the hardships worse for me. That's a problem. That's basically what this individual is saying. And then just because you put on a lighter skin base or foundation, whatever the fuck they call it, don't mean you ain't as dark as some of the rest of us. But that's a whole nother conversation, right? Now, this right here isn't necessarily just a. No, I don't know. Don't let me lie. I don't know. I don't know who is and what is. No more. What's a? I got a video to show y'all one day. Y'all gonna be like, "What?" If y'all didn't hear the voice, y'all might be duped. As I say, niggas, guard your nuts. Anyway, so this person spoke on various privileges, and this is actually probably one of the, what is it? She said that because your skin doesn't make your hardships as tough. So this is probably a person whose video isn't as tough to watch as some of the others, because she acknowledged something that all of us living in the United States have privilege. But again, most niggas don't want to acknowledge that. They act like there's only this white privilege of being an American, because the thing is, most black folks don't want to accept the idea of being an American. They don't embrace it. They don't accept it. They don't want that role or that title because they feel like it's something icky or coon or whatever else it is. So if you don't want the role of a certain title, but you want the treatment of it, that's basically what it is. And it's almost the same shit when we talk with Um, a lot of female situations we talk about, and then females want certain roles and certain treatments, but not wanting to put in choking a piece of popcorn is my own fault. I have popcorn privilege. Um, but not want to accept the responsibility that goes with that role, right? I wanted this treatment, but I don't want to, fall in line with any of the other stuff that goes with it. So, like I said, there's a variety of quote unquote privileges, but the majority of these things, except for this skinny privilege, are things that are out of your control. So why are we sitting here crying about things that you cannot do anything about? You don't get to pick before you come out. Well, let me get the checklist here. I think I'm gonna be extra black. Yeah, I'm gonna be very dark. I'm gonna be born in Africa. Put me in the. I want to live in a hut. Um, Lack of food, lots of flies, lots of disease. Um, oh, I guess I want to give myself a bonus. Wherever the missionaries are. And yeah, I think that'll work for me. Check it off. Yeah, I think this is where I'm going to go. Go ahead and I'm ready to be birthed. No, you don't get to make a fucking decision when you're born. So it's a universal, randomized experience. Nobody knows. Now, the people who create you, of course, their genes play a role in these things. So they may be more responsible for the outcome than you are, right? That's just kind of how that works. So for us to sit here and judge one another on decisions we had nothing to do with is it's idiotic to me, right? You got privilege because of this, that. The fuck you want me to do about that? You got height privilege. You got white privilege. You got to, and again, all these privileges are not real privileges. They're just coincidences, or they're just things. It's not a real situation that anybody can control or change, right? So complaining about white privilege, whether a white person admits, oh, I got white privilege, it doesn't, what does that change? What does that benefit? Right? Like, what is that? How does a white person say, I got white privilege, benefit this lady and her awful eyebrows, right? How does it benefit this lady and her fake hair? How does it benefit me? It does absolutely nothing. I don't give a shit, right? Like, but people to say, you got this white privilege. That's what makes it lucky for you. If it wasn't white, if we were all in some other country, we were all the same color, people would find other things. Well, you got eyesight privilege. You see better than I do, or you got, whatever. They make something up to justify their lack of production, their lack of success, their lack of whatever, and use that as the narrative to feed to others as the reason why. It's not because of me and my inability to do what needs to be done or to overcome these obstacles. It's because that person was just born with advantages. Let me tell you something. Nobody with any advantage should complain. I don't care if it's a financial, rich advantage, because the people who are complaining about these quote unquote privileges is simply envy and jealousy. They just want to have what you have, period, right? I don't believe in white privilege because I don't want to be white. Like, so I have no concern about that. Like, I have no issue being who I am and being happy with who I am. Okay. So these people who run around screaming and hollering about white privilege, most of these black folks, in reality, they all want to be white. Can't prove me anything otherwise because they put white on a pedestal. They feel like white is better. They feel like all these things. That's why they talk about it so much. The people who holler about white privilege want to be white, period, point blank. Doesn't matter if they're black, doesn't matter if they're quote unquote POC, any of these things. They can be the Asian ones, it could be the black, it could be the Hispanic, it could be whatever. The people who holler about white privilege, in reality, want to be white people. That's pretty much the end of that. Anyway, a couple other videos. So I'm gonna go through these privilege videos, and then I got like two videos that are not quite privileged, but kind of privileged. You'll see. We'll see what I'm saying when I get there. I hope I downloaded the other right one. So here's one, right? Here's one that, anyway, I'll just let it play. And I'll let y'all feel what you feel.
Am I or am I not allowed to sing this song? Black Barbie, pretty face, perfect body.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm getting a little bit tired of the white whining.
I'm muted, and I went on a fucking tirade. And y'all can see the energy. And I was muted. I'm so upset about that. But I still got to do. So I basically said for this bitch to shut the fuck up because light-skinned people, light, bright, almost white, always be the angriest motherfuckers when they are basically whatever they claim white privilege to be, they fucking have. So again, like I hate to see this shit. The light-skinned people who complain irk me the fucking most because you're basically, I guarantee there's white in the family. The next generations, one of her parents was a Caucasian. Okay, and so the thing is, like, she's sitting here crying, well, I'm tired of white people. Say, shut the fuck, I'm tired of you, bitch. Like, you are basically white. And you sitting here complaining. You're closer to white than you are to me. It's not even close. There was a color spectrum. You're way closer to white than you are to me. So shut the fuck up crying about white people. I hate when light brights got fucking shit to cry about. Like, oh, it's white privilege. But like I said, historically, through slave times up until now, the quote unquote fairer skinned niggas was always treated better than the darker skinned nigga. You was a fucking house nigga. So what'd you complain? You was no AC, but you got to sit in front of a fucking open window. I'm like, shut up, bitch. I don't give a fuck what you about to say. Now I'll finish it.
Surrounding what white people can and cannot do in regards to black culture, because I'm sorry, I don't have any sympathy for you in the fact that you're disheveled because you can't.
This bitch is basically Heidi. This motherfucker got white skin and green eyes. Like, this bitch could get off in white face and nobody would ever fucking know. If she dyed her fucking hair blonde, she'd probably pass. And for a tanned motherfucking motherfucker off Jersey Shore or some shit. Like, the voice, everything. There's nothing quote unquote stereotypically black about this motherfucker. Nothing. So this person's gonna complain more than any other nigga you know. People who look like this, when they look more white than anything. This motherfucker got green eyes or whatever, or very light brown eyes, closer to white skin. She got red shit under her eyes. Niggas don't get red. This bitch gets sunburned. This bitch gets sunburned actively throughout the summer. That don't happen to niggas. This bitch wears sunscreen on a daily basis. And she complain. Oh, shut up, bitch. Shut the fuck up.
Use and abuse every single aspect of black culture anymore. I don't have sympathy for that. And it just has the tone of, oh, am I gonna get in trouble now that we have to care about black people? Like, am I gonna get in trouble if I sing this song? And it's like, honestly, if you cared as much about black people as you did about singing their damn songs, we would not have this issue. We would not have this discourse at all. It's also just like, do you understand how much content has been made specifically for white people, by white people, with only white people on the production? But you're whining about not being able to sing along to black content. Like, you look really upset in that video, like you've been smited. I'm gonna make a part 2. It'll be up when you see it.
Am I or am I not allowed to sing this?
Let's keep it 1,000. Look at this broad. Oh, it's terrible. Terrible. Look at this broad. I'm gonna play with the sound off. Look at this broad, and then look at the broad neck. Aside from the fucking blonde hair, what's the fucking difference? No tan, tan. No tan, tan. This bitch would look exactly like this motherfucker. She spent a good 3 or 4 hours in the sun. Would look exactly alike. Aside from that, shut up, bitch. Anyway, next video. That's what I say. Motherfuckers like this just want to complain and ignore the quote unquote privileges that they have, which is just natural shit in life. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, I don't believe in privilege, but I'm using these terms to point certain shit out. This fucking looks like a horse. You give it like a fucking carrot. How they used to get the horses to talk on fucking TV. Yeah. Right? So anyway, so here's a gentleman I found very interesting in his take on privilege. Right? Some of you may disagree. Some of you may agree. Let's talk about it.
Tell you why when somebody brings up white privilege to me, I address that issue quick fast based on facts. First of all, I came up on food stamps and government cheese in a community where I was the minority. I don't have more access to special grants, loans, scholarships, and job training skills designed just for me based solely upon the color of my skin, unlike you. I don't have TV shows and channels, magazines and colleges designed just for me and my ethnicity. I don't use racial slurs, make fun of, or mock anybody based solely upon the color of their skin, but it's okay and common for you to do so. There is only one ethnicity that has more privilege over the others in the United States of America in 2021, so use it wisely. And let me tell you why when somebody brings up white privilege.
Agree or disagree? I need some water. I'm going to die. This is what we're going to do. I want you to know, agree or disagree. And while 0 for no, 1 for yes, quick poll. And while we do that, I'm going to give me a quick drink of water here. And we'll put my dancing friend here. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Broderick, this is why you'll never be a moderator. Piece of popcorn just showing up randomly everywhere. All right. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right. Let's see. One popcorn at a time. What do I look like? One popcorn eating motherfucker. Broderick votes 1, then votes 3. See, this is what I'm saying. You can't rely on niggas. And shout out to Solution. Appreciate the super chat. Yes, I was muted. Chill out. I mute myself sometimes. She looks Samoan. Terrible. The Mariah Carey is the pastiest field slave ever. I don't know. Troy Polamalu. That was a good one. Go ahead, it says 2. Is 2 was 2 enough? Just say 1 or 2? Or y'all feel like there's a third option here? Like maybe he's not fully saying something. We'll ask for part 2. Oh, she deemed it her responsibility to make part 2. All right. So that's that gentleman. And he pointed out some very interesting things, right? I can't disagree with everything you said. There are special channels which niggas still watch for some reason. I don't know why. They're terrible. They're just basically reruns of MTV shows with black people in them, but whatever. You have special collegiate opportunities. You have special colleges and universities, which those people don't even take advantage of now. The Southeast Asian vice presidents go there and they take advantage of those opportunities. But that's a whole nother conversation. Like I said, lots of chances that some people do take advantage of in the worst way. A lot of people don't for their own benefit. Very interesting perspective, right? So would that be considered a privilege to have government benefit privilege? Is that a privilege? Is that something that we need to discuss? Is that something that we need to put on the table of privileges? It's not a real thing, but I'm going to create a table of privileges and then it'll be real cool. And people will take it like, see, these are all the privileges you got. Anywho, I got another video, right? And I think I found me a new follow on TikTok, except for a couple of things. I watched a couple of this next person's TikTok videos and I like them. But there's a couple of things I don't like, but that's for another conversation. You know, it's easy to pick out things you don't like. It's better try to find things that you do, right? So,
White privilege does not exist. It isn't true.
Damn it, this is not the video. This is not the video I was talking about. I hope I did not download that other video. This video is terrible. This video is awful. This video I do not like. Let's watch it together.
And you're digging yourself a hole that's taller than you. You think you're trying to be funny, but you're miles off the money. Oh my god, white people's brains are totally screwed. Do people call you nasty racial slurs? In an elevator with you, do people clutch their purse? Or cross the street to give you clearance solely based on your appearance? That's white privilege if you can't relate to this verse. In the media, do you not have representation? Have your people been oppressed for generations? Or have to protest in the street to not get murdered by police or end up in industrial incarceration? Are you scared when you're pulled over by the cops? Do you fear for your life and know you might get shot? When you walk into a store, do people assume that you are poor just based on the color of your skin? That's right, thought not. Your willful ignorance is clearly showing through. I'd recommend that you go read a book or two. It's obvious from your hateful lies, this racism you've internalized, and I gotta say, it's really a terrible look on you.
White privilege does not exist. It isn't true.
Niggas. Just the allies you want to have on your side. If you think it really went down, this individual has your back. All those things that this individual suggested are generally done by individuals who align with individuals like that. Some of you may feel different. Some of you may agree. I'm just telling you my personal beliefs and experiences, right? But listen to the media, right? You listen to all that other stuff. You know, they'll tell you, oh, these are your friends, these are your allies. The people who aren't all quite there. But hey, you know, if that's what you want to run with, if that's the camp that you want to get down with, hey man, we all got to look out for each other. That's a piece of shit. Yeah, that's what I say. The shirt, you see all that stuff. They made a whole song for you though, so they must like you. They made a whole song for you. It's very catchy, right? So again, imagine being so oppressed and it is a thing that pisses me off, right? I've said this multiple times. I've been talking about this throughout the day today. and randomly. And when people say this shit, show me where niggas are getting hunted down and murdered in the street. Anybody, please. Show me the numbers, right? Show me where it's happening. I'll show you where it's happening. Chicago, Miami, Houston, New York, LA. But it isn't the police that are doing it. It's other niggas that's doing it. Sure, in Portland, and other various places, right? I'm sure I'm missing quite a few, but I guarantee you go look at any of these places, it's happening, right? It's happening more so than ever. The numbers up higher than ever. Well, they're increasing, right? But people will find ways to try to spin it, to try to pin the narrative. And here's the thing, right? People like this tend to be disingenuous. And I'm not saying just this individual here. This person looks pretty well enough brainwashed to be believing whatever's being told to them because they align with a certain side that they believe has their back. But the truth is, a lot of those people who lean, and I got to remember my direction is different from your direction because I'm like facing you, but y'all know what I'm saying. A lot of those people who lean a particular way are extremely disingenuous, and they go out of their way to be disingenuous with statistics, information, by skewing facts, alternative facts, if you will, to try to prove points. Well, it's not as bad as you say. This is where the numbers are the numbers, right? The numbers are the numbers. You can say whatever you want to say. It is what it is. Shout out to Solomon Lewis says, tough times make strong men make easy times make weak men create tough times. That's very true. Extremely true. I know it's not this random TikTok. Definitely not this random TikToker. So again, well, yes, exactly. Who gunned him down? Didn't they just find all the motherfuckers who shot him down? Who shot down that other rapper that everybody loves so much? Was it the police or was it a bunch of young niggas? Right? A bunch of young niggas who plotted on this nigga, who were adults enough to plot on the social media that they was gonna go rob this nigga, and they killed that young man. Who killed Sean Taylor? Was it the police? Was it any of that? No. It was some young niggas who were greedy, wanted what he had. And again, we were talking about this earlier. I think me and Dan were talking about, people sit there and say, oh, well, it's because they're in impoverished situation. This creates crime. Well, why isn't everybody who is in poverty selling drugs and getting rich, right? We can all sell drugs and get rich. Why isn't everybody in poverty, who is in poverty, a prostitute? Now, why isn't everybody who is in poverty robbing and stealing and shooting one another? Now, I believe it is a small number, or a minimal number that actually get caught, that are doing these things, right? But it creates a big enough problem in these communities because then people who are seeking drugs come to these communities, people who are, seeking to pay for their drug habit, they commit crimes in these communities. And it makes these communities worse for those who stay there, who cannot afford, who have not been told the truth, hey, that you can, through education or various other means, get out of situations like this because they actually buy in and believe the wolves that live amongst them those people are getting mistreated. They're shooting and killing niggas in our neighborhood who look just like us, but they're getting mistreated by the law enforcement. So even though they're domestic terrorists in their own neighborhood, the law shouldn't treat them like that. Why? Because they look like you. Would that be black privilege? Or would that be nigger privilege? Because it's not just the blacks. You got, amazingly, there's ghetto ass Asians, apparently in California, Asian Crip niggas. You have plenty of Hispanics doing their dirt. You have plenty of whites doing their dirt. You have plenty of niggas doing their dirt. But in these particular communities, is that criminal privilege? If we're not going to, express that, hey, these people are the ones that are the problems. These are the ones that are making it difficult on everybody else. What's the saying? The poor pay more. These are the reasons why in lower income neighborhoods, prices are higher. It's not any better for you. It's not that the rich people are paying more. Rich people are actually paying less because, they call the police. They report crimes when they happen because crimes have a cost, right? You steal from a store, that store has to recoup that money. Or the store says, you know what, too much stealing in this neighborhood, no point in being here. Let's pack it up, ship out. We're not making any profit. So now it costs you more to go across town to get what you want. Or, like I said, the prices are high. Now you got to go to the bodega You got to go to a convenience store because you can't get the necessary goods that you need from, you know, the Wally or whatever. And Wally, you know, they're like a fucking, they ain't going nowhere. They're just gonna raise the prices up on you. You know, it's gonna go from fucking $2.97 to $3.97. You know what I mean? Like, because all the niggas stealing all the black hair care products. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. But again, like I say, these people probably mean well, but they're blinded by emotion, empathy, if you will, and caring. And that doesn't always align with the facts. Like I say, I care about everybody. I want to see everybody do well. I want everybody to have the best possible life that they can live on this earth. But for that to happen, you have to be aware of the facts, what's actually going on around you. Because if you're not, then you're living in a fantasy and you cannot, I mean, some people will benefit living fantasy lives, but the majority of us will not. And as a community, there will be no success if everybody believes that they're fairies and Tinkerbells, right? Nobody's going to want to do the hard work. Anyway, I lied. Yeah, San Francisco. Who killed Nipsey the Crip? Exactly. Who's gunning who down in the streets, right? How many cops, right? We love the rappers. The rappers are always the ones talking about cops killing rappers. How many rappers have been killed by the police? Anybody got any? I don't have any that even come to mind right now. Like, does anybody know a rapper that's been shot and killed by the police? I have no idea. I can't even think. I know Tupac shot some cops, allegedly. Oh, they had to come back and get their revenge. But again, but the way the media portrays it is, hey, some other niggas got it. Yeah. Oh man, shout out to Broderick. Broderick, if you still had that link to that dude who used to be the bodyguard or whatever for Puffy, and he tells that story about how, you know, he thought Puffy had a very big hand in Biggie's portrayal that evening. That's a good one for those of you who may be interested. You should drop that in the deal. All right. Well, yeah, maybe by the extended hand of the CIA, but who executed the hit? Niggas. Niggas. You know what I'm saying? And so that's my deal, right? Where are the cops gunning him? That was disgusting. Well, I just did was absolutely disgusting. Who hiding? Really? They don't count. They got to have a certain level of success for them to be considered rappers. Like local rappers don't count. Local rappers, I just dropped my first mixtape on Underground Unknown Records, and I spit 2 bars, and now I'm a rapper. The Hawk. This boomer only knows The Hawk. The Hawk is the funniest shit to me. They only know The Hawk. Hawk, H-A-W-K, no the, no lay. Well, maybe a big hawk if you want to put that in front of it. But, and I got one more video for y'all. This is the actual video I was looking for. I guess I didn't hit the download button. This is the one I said, I believe this woman is from Texas, but she had a very funny California TikTok that I liked. When it was about some white chick talking about when you move to California to try to turn it blue. But anyway, we'll get to that.
How's it going? Listen, if you're black and you were born in America, you're not African American, you're just American. If you were born in Africa and you become an American citizen, well then you're African American. That's how that works. Now, I'm Irish and I'm proud of my heritage, but I was born here in America. I'm an American. Also, there's no such thing as white privilege. If you were born in the United States of America, you're already privileged. The very day you are born here, you are born free. You have the freedom to pick what religion you want to be. You can be openly gay. You can burn the American flag and tear down monuments and not be shot down in the middle of the street like dogs with fully automatic rifles by your government. Welcome to America. Land of the free, home of the brave. Nobody's oppressed. You're just making that bullshit up.
He looks like a red Ray Ray. Everybody doesn't know who Ray Ray is. You've been to South, you know what I'm talking about. He looks like a red Ray Ray, though. Apparently, she pointed to herself when she talked about being from Africa, right? And I think people from Africa know. Think she's agreeing with him. That's the funny part about it, right? Why? Why is this other black person? You know, we talk about all these privileges. Yes, that's the wig. Y'all know my thoughts on that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know my thoughts on that. But why would this person who obviously has, you know, give me a word. What's a word I need? What's the word? I've never heard of him. I've never seen him a day in my life. Tonight was the first time I've ever seen that guy. Let me see. I need a word. Let me Google a word. It ain't coming to mind. Let me see. I guess that'll work. So I'm trying to find the proper word for an opposite of privilege, right? Inhibition. Nah, disqualification, not quite. It doesn't just qualify you from anything. Exclusion, right? Okay, we'll use exclusion. So she would also suffer from dark skin exclusion. She's not the smallest woman in the world, so she might suffer from big girl exclusion. She's wearing a nappy wig. I'll take that over the other weave any day, but still, we'll talk about that. So she's got the hair exclusion, the not being born in America exclusion, the actual African, right? Why do Africans think more along the lines? That's the thing I don't get. Why do Africans think more along the lines of this red bearded pirate than actual? You're a terrible person, Heidi. You stole that joke from Dave Chappelle and the Nutty Professor. Who's sucking who titties over here? Why do Africans tend to agree more with Redbeard than actual black people born in America, right? A rap song called Racism. What's the name? Adam Calhoun. Let me write that down. Let's check it out. Who's that other guy that everybody likes? Not Tom Holland. I think that's the actor. So who's the guy with all the tattoos? What are you talking about? Can you Nutty Professor? The fucking Eddie Murphy Nutty Professor? You're a fucking embryo, Heidi. You're a goddamn embryo. Tom McDonald. Yeah, that guy. Okay. All right. If you said Tom McDonald, I kind of would have knew you were talking about. I would have knew his name. Did I say Tom Holland? What the fuck? Anyway, so again, if all these privileges and all these things exist, like, why do real Africans tend to think more along the lines of Adam Redbeard than they do with Black Americans? Why do Africans tend to have disdain for Black Americans in the way they think and behave? Why is that? When they actually come from a situation where they don't have the freedoms, the privileges of being born American. Why do Black Americans want to ignore the fact that being born in the United States is a privilege? You have people fighting, dying, killing, stabbing, riding in fucking container ships, riding on fucking makeshift rafts from fucking Cubas, having to fight Jaws along the way. You know what I'm saying? I think there might be killer whales out there. I can't prove this. I like to imagine that just because it just makes it so much more compelling. It just makes it like avoided a killer whale on the way to America from Cuba. That's not a Cuban accent, but it just makes it sound better. The Cuban accent really wouldn't work that well. Anyway, and these people come here from these places where they've suffered, where they've been a part of the systems that people are trying to. You see that? Did you see what I did there? I upgraded 3 quotes, not 2. 3. Okay, it's 2021. You got to give it shit. Um, but they come from these places where real oppression exists, where limitation, where social mobility does not exist. And they come here, they thrive because they know what they're missing out on. They know what it's like to go through, real issues. And they come here and they all tend to have a similar mindset. Now they might not all be 100% America, but they understand the idea that is America. And they live for that idea because that is the freedom, the ability to not have your shit restricted and taken from you. But then you got like people. You got people who want to take these rights from you, all right? Because they're weak, because they're frail, because they would never be the people that would make the journey to escape from these places. They would never be the people who would take the risk, save the money to go somewhere else and start anew. They want the place where they're at to cater to them. And they're not gonna make it, right? They're not built for the challenge. So I want y'all to think about that. I'm gonna show you 3 more videos. We're gonna open up the line. One of these videos has absolutely nothing to do with anything, but I want to show it to you just because. I was going to save it for another day, but no time like the present. This is Broderick's favorite person.
I used to love to drive. They don't let me drive anymore. And I have a beautiful Corvette sitting in my garage.
Is that not weird to you? Some of you voted for this man. And I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. You didn't know better because the media did not inform you of these things. You didn't know better because you let your anger for the other guy. Rightfully so, that's fine. Because if you bought into what people were saying and doing, the people who had the control of most of the television stations because they just needed me, he wasn't following the rules. You believed in the other guy, all the lies and stuff that they told you. You voted for this guy. There are too many videos, pictures, scenes, segments, occasions, interactions of little shit like this. Too many words that have come out of his mouth, things that he said, that you cannot tell me that you've been paying attention and say that you're going, if this guy makes it, that you're going to cast another vote for this person. If you are, you're a terrible person.
I used to love to drive. They don't let me drive anymore. And I have a beautiful Corvette sitting in my garage. I used to.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's why I said, you didn't know any better. You didn't know about this guy because you were mad at Trump. And so I don't blame you. The media did its job. The media did its job, right? No, I agree, John. Resentment, contempt, rebellion, sentiment, which is all the people who feel like they're getting punched down on. That's what they all got, right? Yeah. There was no, and when I spoke with that individual, and I would inquire, what was it that you liked about him? There was no real belief. There was no real. He had a plan. Couldn't tell me what the plan was because he had no plan. He just said he had a plan, and people believe that. Niggas bought this. He's like, I got a plan to fight the 19. As soon as I'm the president, 19 is gonna go away. 19 got worse. Everybody got inoculated, and the shit got worse than ever. Crazy, right? How? Now you can mix and match like jabs though, like Pokemon, like get your fire type, get your water type, get your ground type. You know what I'm saying? So there you go, right? It's super, super weird. If that's not eerie to you, if that's not questionable behavior to you, with seeing that in over a dozen videos, there's at least a dozen, and I'm lowballing. I'm hanging low. I'm lowballing tonight. I'm lowballing. And that doesn't bother you or concern you. You think that you'd rather accept that than something else, better options out there. That's a you problem. You're a sick individual. Period. If that doesn't concern you, the fact that you've seen that I don't know how many times, and at some point you're not concerned about how free this man is with other people's children, like smelling on them, putting your face to them. Like, it's one thing, hey, pat on the back. It's one thing, hey, give me a little dap, high five, something like that. This man has no qualms about getting very close, up close and intimate and into children's personal space. That bothers me. That's a concern. I don't have proof, but where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's a lot of fucking smoke, right? But anywho, just want to share that with you. I had nothing to do with anything else tonight. I know some people are going to be, I'm getting out of here. He's getting political. He's using political privilege. I got two more things to show you. One of these I sent to Dan the Man. I hadn't seen it, but we're gonna watch this precursor, and then we're gonna watch the other one. You'll see. People said that there shouldn't be certain laws because other people might use them for certain things, for bad. People said nobody would do that. You guys are just ostracizing a particular segment of the alphabet community, and you guys you're just using your straight hate to try to push and punch down on another group because you guys are phobics. Okay, so whatever.
All you tuckers and tucking enthusiasts, it's time for yet another TikTok tuck test. Now, I'm a trans woman who hasn't had bottom surgery. In other words, I have an outie, not an innie. Anyway, when I go out in public, I tuck. And one of my most popular videos here is one where I tried on the infamous TikTok leggings to show off my tucking skills. Over 1 million people watched that video. They took a look at my crotch and said, wow, that's amazing. So, when I discovered the exercise dress, I figured it's time for a follow-up. Now,
I'm going to do it. I hadn't watched this video prior to, so this is why I got to watch it. We're just going to stop right here because no. But again, you see what they care about. 1 million people looked at my crotch. This is trans empowerment. It's the same thing as women's sexual liberation, right? Like, this is the same thing as women's sexual liberation. I get to fuck everybody I want to. It sets me free. Then when none of them want to be with me, they're all pieces of shit. Right? That's what it's about. Just because I fucked their brother and their cousin and their dad and their uncle doesn't mean he shouldn't want to be with me. He's misogynistic. Women's sexual liberation. All I care about is this stupid shit. 1 million people looked at my crotch. Wow, you set the trans people on a whole other platform. Good for you. But anyway, people like this turn into people like this.
Troubling charges. Investigators say that he wore a wig to get into the women's dressing rooms at the Rentham outlets and take pictures of girls there. Emily is back in the newsroom with details on this creepy crime.
Amaka police say witnesses were able to catch that man in the act. They say he used that disturbing disguise to take hundreds of pictures and videos of unsuspecting victims.
This is the man police say is accused of acting suspiciously inside a dressing room at the Rentham outlets. Jacob Guerrero was arraigned Tuesday on a charge of possessing child pornography.
Wait, they disrespect that trans and call that a man? How dare they? He's gender fluid, and he can make the choice of what gender he wants to be at what time, and they are oppressing him because he just wanted to take pictures of other beautiful women while she was in the restroom. I can't believe this prejudiceness. We need a fucking march.
Police say 3 women at the outlets reported Guerrero acting suspiciously in a dressing room this summer.
He was present in one of the Rentham outlets changing rooms to observe people undressing and trying on clothing.
Police say one of those women then saw Guerrero follow a group of girls into a bathroom. She took this picture of him in a blonde wig with what police say are cameras taped to his shoes. Police obtained surveillance video, which they say shows Guerrero, sometimes dressed in an Amazon delivery uniform, arrive 11 times at the outlets and change into the wig and a dress. Police searched his phone and found 240 photos and 23 videos of nude and partially nude people taken in several cities and towns.
That ranged from 8 and 9-year-old males to females closer, I believe, in their young teens.
Amazon saying in a statement, we've been notified that as part of an ongoing criminal investigation, a driver who delivered our packages was arrested and charged with serious crimes. This individual is no longer delivering packages for Amazon and will continue to assist law enforcement with their investigation.
Police say Guerrero also took photos of a young girl from outside of her Norfolk home. They say he has no connection to that victim, but may have delivered packages to her home. Live in the newsroom, Emily Pritchard, 7 News Today in New England.
But nobody would ever do that, bro. Nobody would ever fake like a woman just to have access to women's restrooms, bro. That's not what they would do, because, you know, people don't do that. They're either, you know, gender fluid, or, you know, they're a woman, even though you can take the wig off, you know, and he still looks kind of mannish and gets charged as a man, bro. Again, people said that this would happen. This. People said that this would, and you know what? Look, I don't want to hear shit. I don't want to hear shit. Like, y'all can't talk about, oh, you don't look like no female. There's some black bitches got this exact blonde fucking wig and be wearing that shit just like this nigga trying to cover up the big forehead. Look, it's all right. You got the big forehead. Let it shine, baby. Let it shine. You know what I'm saying? I know at least 3 black bitches that got this fucking wig. There may have been women who have been in and or out the den chats that have this exact wig. I'm not pointing any fingers or naming any name. I just have beliefs. Anyway, again, right? Disgusting. I wish a nigga would. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind. I'm not saying I'm perpetuating this, and I'm not saying that I'm encouraging violence against anyone. Or let me phrase this right. So somebody come back here, he's threatening. I have a strong belief that if it came down to it, I could kill a man with my bare hands. I believe this. Don't ask me why I believe this, but I believe this. This was a situation that somebody I knew personally was in. I don't think that I would hesitate to issue justice immediately. No need for the court system, right? So there's that. Looks like the girl was complaining about the Barbie song. Yes. Is it true that Heidi's a black raw? I may have you know, month-free code for you to find that out. Only thing worse than lawyers is lawyers. What about that lawyer in Austin with dreads? I would never, ever, as a nigga with dread, I would never use his service. Be the stupidest thing ever. He's like a fucking crazy hippie lawyer. I would never use his services, especially if it was for like a fucking drug charge. Like, give me a court appointed. I won't, not even for free, bro. Like, a white lawyer with dreads coming to defend my drug case, I would take me to jail, lock me up. Motherfucker, I gotta fucking fucking A. Let me see something. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I keep forgetting to do something. I gotta take some time to fix everything. Like, it's just that I did so much, and I've been lazy. But I'm gonna fix it by Friday, because I want to have some fun Friday. I want to bring back karaoke night. Like I said, I was watching the old karaoke video, that first karaoke we did, and it was so much fun. I want to bring back karaoke night. So maybe not this week, maybe next week, maybe we close to the end of the month, something like that. We bring back karaoke night. We'll see. What the fuck is this? Remind me later. I don't want to do that. All right. So let us. Oh, okay, cool. Well, that's what I was going to do anyway. Let us flip the script back and appreciate the super chat love strong and grand. Exactly right. Now it's a man. Now it's a man when it's going down. Joe asks, "What's the motherfucking deal?" Lori Lightfoot's personal Yelp account was found reviews. No, I bet that's interesting. I bet that's very interesting. The Astros videos. You tell me. You tell me. That's unfortunate. Rock has got a long ways to go. We're not even going to talk about that. So give me a moment. I'm going to open up the line. Let me make sure everything's good. Let me see something. Who's got privilege? Fucking A. Yeah, I got to fix all these things. I got to fix all the buttons because I moved everything around. I'm not going to do it right now. So we'll just close that out. Shenanigans. We're going to have fun Friday. Here's that number. I want to talk about privilege. I want to talk about wokey woke stuff. I want to talk about the walkout at Netflix. Did you guys see that? I should have saved that last video, but there was a walkout at Netflix, and the guys, they had a counter protest with the people. And all they were saying is, we like jokes. We think Dave is funny. And the people attacked him. Well, what's the motherfucking deal? We got called into the den this evening.
Man, I was just laughing about that shit. I saw a video of the protest, man. It's amusing.
Crazy.
And, of course, Netflix moonwalks. Dave should break this contract, too. Just say, man, fuck these bitches, bro. That's one of the highest, and this is Danny, by the way, you know, Prince Coon, Prince Ruckus of Wakanda. Yeah. And that was just amusing to me. And, of course, the president, CEO of Netflix, like, I mean, but like we were talking about earlier, you know, this is the company that thought cuties was a good idea. And the only thing they apologized for was how lewd the initial poster was with the girls. I ain't gonna describe that shit. I ain't like that shit. That's the only thing they apologized for that abomination of a goddamn movie. That's it. The poster was a little racy, but please come in and watch the rest of the movie, which is even worse than the goddamn poster. Yeah. Come on in. So I'm not surprised that they moonwalked on Dave Chappelle. You know, of course. And yeah, and I think didn't they fire the black woman who essentially like started the whole rally thing or whatever?
Yeah.
Or they fired her.
Yeah, they fired her, but the crazy thing is, you know, and people are trying to make it seem like, oh, they just fired her for being trans, even though they reinstated the other 3 trans people who walked in on the directors only meeting. They fired her for leaking, you know, confidential information, which is Netflix doesn't usually release the specific numbers on shows as far as, you know, what's been made and, you know, the viewer ratings and all that stuff like that. They usually don't, you know, they don't release that information. It's kind of an in-house, in-company thing. When they say that's part of their Netflix culture to, you know, for them to thrive, they have to keep that stuff in-house. And that person released all that information, which is against company policy, and they got their asses fired. People try to make it seem like, oh, it's because she was a black, trans, pregnant woman, and she hit all the intersections and they fired her. Like, there's like 1,000 trannies working at Netflix. So why?
And you violated the contract.
Yeah.
So fuck you. Goodbye. Simple as that.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
I'm not surprised by that. It's like, it's just thinking about it. You throw around this racist, bigoted, you know, misogynistic, homophobic. You put these words around so much, it loses their initial meaning. And then whenever someone is on some real bigoted, racist shit like that, that would be deemed illegal and wrong, we can't tell the difference. And people just stop giving a fuck.
Yes.
That's kind of where I'm at right now. Mm-hmm. You know, I've experienced racist shit. I actually had a dude I worked for in the military. He seemed like a decent dude, a white dude. We were cool with some of the black guys in there. We were driving to some school he had, and this is when he already left and got promoted to chief. And you know, ship floats gold sinks. That's generally how the military goes. And and like, oh yeah, someone brought his name up, and then the white dude was like, oh, that dude was racist as shit. And I'm like, what you talking about? It's like every time like there's only some of the white guys from the higher ups just said nigga this, nigga that, straight up, nigga, yeah. Straight up. And not the cool way, like it's called rap is no, nigger. There you go. So yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, look, Louis said his mom watched Cuties. I mean, if she was fine with it, cool. I'm not trying to go after your mother or anything, sir. You know, I don't find that tasteful, in my humble opinion. I don't like little girls wearing provocative outfits, especially. They shouldn't be wearing that shit at all, in my humble opinion.
No.
I personally don't. And then the twerking part, that's what really, a lot of people have issues with that. And not because they're, sensitive bitches, like most of Twitter, because they're essentially, I don't want to say prostituting children, but I mean, we're talking about Hollywood here, something that's not far off the scale. They're essentially sexualizing children, and I don't think that's a good idea, in my humble opinion. And people agree with that, so. But they ain't take it off. And dude, if they take Dave Chappelle off it's gonna be funny.
Yeah.
That would be some European shit, Mr. Willie. That would be some European shit, bro. So maybe we should have kept it in Europe. Anyway, it is what it is, man. But they made their money off of it.
Yeah, but like you said, you saw some of the backlash, right? So some of the things you saw the gentleman who
the sign?
Yeah, the sign. And
we just want to laugh? Yeah.
Yeah. We just want to laugh. Dave is funny. Mm-hmm. But did you see what immediately happened? And it was a microcosm of what very liberal people tend to do, and people who are in certain groups and communities tend to do. I mean, more of the far left. And what happened was, for those of you who didn't see it, the gentleman had a sign on, it looks like to be a wooden stick or something like that, a pole, whatever you want to call it. And it said, hey, Dave is funny. We just want to laugh, or, jokes are funny, whatever. And nothing harmful, nothing anti-trans, nothing. Some large, didn't look to be a trans, probably, gay man. He had a pride heart shirt looking thing on. He takes the guy's stick and steps on it. Takes his sign and steps on it, right? Breaks it. And the guy's just trying to pick his sign back up. So he picks it up and he just has the stick left because the actual signs are on the ground. And immediately after picking up the stick, the first thing they do is yell, "He has a weapon!" and start trying to fucking attack. Like, you just broke this man's sign, and then you turn around and try to accost him or claim that he has a weapon. He didn't approach anybody aggressively. He, they were like, "Drop your weapon," do all that stuff. He put the little stick down, all of the fucking thing. So he did nothing in aggression other than counter protest, which is allowed. We're allowed to do. We're allowed to protest. We're allowed to counter protest, right? I thought that was part of the thing. What did you think about the response to that? The way that those people responded. What did you think about the people who came to actually counter protest the walkout?
Well, the counter protesters, look, salute to them, man. They're executing their constitutional right. Mm-hmm. As for the protesters, the initial protesters, I think they're learning well from their cohorts at Antifa. Very well. Basically, throw the stone, hold your hand, assault people when the cops show up. Then you turn the cameras on, and then you scream like a bitch, and you protect the same people who you want defunded and killed and all that shit. I see it all the time. These Antifa rallies, they love doing that shit. But they can't fight for shit, so they start macing people and shit, and attacking old ladies and shit like that, and going after people. I mean, that's not the only time trans people had some issues that most of us didn't agree with, like that spa issue, where the fucking convicted sex offender for exposing himself went into the Wee Spa, the Korean spa. And the people had an issue with it, like the black woman who reported that bullshit, and all the other females were leaving. Then that soy boy beta cuck fuck tried to quote unquote correct her on her vagina privilege, I suppose you want to call it, for being born with a vagina. And then she got in this shit and told him that he has a penis. I love how she went in on him. Maybe you don't have one anymore. And then he walked off because he was defeated. Oh, you do not argue with a black woman. She will beat you down with her endurance in arguments. I've learned that a long time. So shout out to that sister. I'm glad she stood on her feet. God bless her. But it's just, that's not surprised, dude. And you know what? Someone mentioned earlier TERFs. Trans exclusionary radical feminists, basically feminists without the penises. That's what that is. And when feminists allied with the LGBT community, they really fucked themselves because these trannies are the TS community. I don't want to get this cut out. Like I said something the last time I called in. I noticed it was cut out like 10, 15 seconds. And it was mentioning certain people. So I thought I was like, interesting. The algorithm is acting up. So I'm going to be very careful about it. I can talk about shooting black men in the head all day, but you can't say that though.
No, yes.
That's another point Dave Chappelle made. You
Shoot them
can talk about
niggers.
killing niggas all day in this country. Yeah, you can do that. But yeah, the turf. So basically, what that is, a lot of these feminists nowadays are like, no, we want this for like natural born woman. But because you guys are allied with these people who want to blur the whole concept of gender and sexuality, you really backed yourself in a wall, into a corner. So good luck. Yes, Big Brother is watching, Joe. Watching. Louis, I got you, man. It's all good, Louis. It shit is crazy, bro. So that's trans privilege. So speaking of power of privilege, that's trans privilege.
Yes.
There you go. You can, and I forgot who was talking about this, but like Netflix is a business at the end of the day. Sure, they have people who want to push certain agendas, stuff like that. But Dave Chappelle, all his specials have been extremely high rated, bringing in a lot of money. That's why he defended them at the beginning of the CEOs and executives defended him at the beginning of the thing. But of course, they think capitulating to these wokish mobs is a good thing. They think they'll stop yelling if you capitulate to them. No. You just put blood in the water. The sharks are hungry now. So they'll keep pushing. Now let's see how much is alienating Dave Chappelle. I'm assuming they already paid him his money or most of it at this point. Maybe he'll leave again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would laugh. I fucking laugh, bro, because he made a lot of money off of these specials.
But I feel like he knew what was going to happen, though. I feel like he knew what was going to happen. That's why he kind of prefaced the situation by calling it the closer and then saying that, he's like, this is going to be my last special for a while. Because I think he knows that he knew that what was going to happen and the fallout was going to occur. And because he's been around it too much. And again, he's like he said, he's seen it his whole career because he's been attacked because of whatever that magazine made that talked about his jokes and all that other shit. And so I think he kind of knew that. He's like, fuck it, I got paid. I'm finna say what I need to say, and I'm going to, step off in the sunset. If I come back, I come back. If I don't, fuck it.
Well, you know what? I'm looking forward to a very hilarious transgender comedian to take that spot at Netflix. Mm-hmm. I know Eddie Izzard used to cross-dress, but I think he was straight. That's a British comedian, if I'm correct. Mm-hmm. That's like the only person I've seen in some sort of drag that was a comedian, honestly.
But most
of this woke-ass comedy is garbage.
Yeah, I was going through something today on the Twitter when I was looking for some things, and I saw something talking about when they were talking about the Netflix walkouts. One of the hashtags was from, well, go check out these 3 trans comedians and, laugh out loud instead of supporting Netflix. Something crazy. I can't do it. I've watched.
I ain't plugging that nigga mixtape. No. I ain't plugging a mixtape. Fuck that.
I've listened to lesbian comedians and with all honesty, to give it a shot, did not find it amusing. I've heard gay comedians, did not find it amusing. They just, in my opinion, tend to say, the gay comedians tend to say the most outrageous things that they can, it's kind of more like shock comedy than actual, just instead of just real jokes, anything that's actually, funny to me. Some people like shock comedy. Some people like people to say the most outrageous things and disgusting things that you can. Ha ha ha. That's funny, right? But there's no kind of anything to it. And then, like I say, a lot of the lesbian comedians that I've had that I've watched. Again, it's just kind of centered around sexuality. And so to me, it's like, same thing with a lot of female comedians. So, I just don't see that interest, right? And again, so it is what it is. Yeah.
Oh, God. That's that privilege, this current, I'm not going to say administration because this started way before these dudes. It's just reaching end game levels right here. The society, Western society, because this is mainly Western society issue, seems like it's endeared towards driving people away from each other with the advent of social media, all the endangered groups, it just seems like it's driving everyone apart from each other. And that's got to be for a purpose. This shit like this doesn't happen just accidentally. And yeah, Mr. Kenobi, I did see that Mr. Buttigieg or Buttigieg or what the fuck his name is, he went on paternity leave. I was in the military for 8 years. I've never heard of paternity leave. Now, you have family to go set up moving and stuff like that. Maternity leave is obviously for the woman. Paternity leave, that's new. So look, what does paternity leave consist of exactly? Someone explain that to me. for two men who adopted a child. What is paternity leave?
Who gets to be the daddy? Like who gets to decide?
Right.
Like, does the woman who actually had the kid, does she get maternity leave, or does she have to transfer her maternal rights to one of those dudes? Like, well, it's your baby now, so you get the maternity leave. Like, what is really going fucking on there, right? And Joan Rivers was a lesbian?
Not surprised. Hollywood. Everyone's a lesbian.
Well,
everyone switched it to Hollywood, man.
Was Lucille a lesbian
that's how they get gigs. Probably.
Duh, Joan Rivers was funny. Joan Rivers was, we used to roast motherfuckers. Like,
yeah, she didn't give a fuck, B. She was like Wendy Williams before Wendy fucking Williams.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's the thing about woke comedy is that you're trying to be funny without offending anybody, and that's damn near impossible.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. Like, that's why, again, I think people who are more independent / right, are funnier because we're not here to give a fuck about your feelings. Like, you're here to get capped on. Like, but when you get to a point where I can't talk about this group, I can't talk about that group. Well, guess what? Those are privileges. Like, you can't talk about gay. You can't crack gay jokes because who was Family Guy no longer does gay jokes or something like that. So that's a privilege. If you're a special group, you're privileged, right? You have special privileges. You can't talk about the trans community. Like, you can talk, like you said, though, you can talk about niggas. Niggas can talk about white people. You can talk about the straights. You can talk about anybody, but except for these fictionally marginalized groups. Guess what? Everybody's funny, and my definition of funny is something awkward, right? That doesn't normally happen. Something awkward, but not permanently damaging. You know what I mean? Because that's the only way you laugh at something is if it's something out of the norm. Somebody says something that you don't normally hear people say, or somebody does something that doesn't normally happen. I like to watch fat fails on occasion. You know what I'm saying? And generally, it's people who just don't believe in gravity or physics, and they're doing things, riding on devices that are significantly too small for them. It looks awkward. Something awkward happens, and they fall. Because you're normally expecting people to be walking upright, in whatever direction they're going. So when somebody falls, it's fucking funny because it's not supposed to happen. It's an awkward situation. Like, but we can't laugh at the awkwardness. Just because I'm laughing doesn't mean I wish pain upon you. I wish negative energy upon you. It's just an out of the norm situation that disrupted the commonplace, and I laugh because it was like, I wouldn't expect that. That's kind of fucking funny. You know what I'm saying? I'd laugh at a motherfucker, be the first person to help somebody up, but I'm still gonna laugh because it's fucking funny. But you can't do that anymore. This is where we are. So.
Yeah, God, man. George Carlin would have had a fucking mental conniption at this point. He was one of the funniest comedians alive, in my humble opinion. Mm-hmm. George Carlin, that motherfucker was ridiculous, bro. All this socially woke PC shit. He would have especially this PC shit. Yeah, she died not long after she called the Obamas, I think. Go figure. Pure coincidence. Pure coincidence. Pure coincidence. Wow. Oh, man. Yeah, man. I think mattering on a situation, certain people have certain privileges. I think the gentleman earlier. He was mentioning white privilege. Oh, American privilege. I think us in this country should be very grateful. Now, in terms of our country, there are issues going on, but I've been to countries where, I'm telling you, man, parts of the Middle East, parts of Europe, not so much in Japan. Japan was very much a country looked out for its people, unlike some countries I've been to. But like parts of the Middle East, man, bro, I'm telling you, you're a woman. I don't care how hot it is. You wearing a fucking burqa, whatever it's called. You wearing that shit. I was in the mall in I think it was UAE, and like I seen like it's like 105 degrees outside, dry heat, but it's all right. You deal with it. You get acclimated after a while. And I'm like, dog, I hope they butt naked under these burqas, man, because it's hot as a bitch outside, bro. It's insane. Yes, Miss Kenobi, this is Dan, the coon. Yeah, I'm here.
So I don't know. I don't know if they butt naked under there because unless they have just better hygiene, and there might be an eerily fishy smell if they ain't wearing no drawers and shit up under there, just butt naked under burgers and something fishy around here. I can't quite put my finger on what it is.
I think there was a browsers or Bang Bros video that started like that. I wouldn't know. I saw a preview of that. I try to leave porn alone now.
They definitely there definitely is.
I'm surprised ain't nobody fucking committed a jihad on Bang Bros headquarters when that Mia Khalifa chick showed up.
Oh,
good lord. She wore like a little headdress in one of the videos. And it was the most popular videos ever. And she was getting death threats and shit. So that's my thing right there. Like a woman of that. I think she was. I wouldn't know, sir. I would not know. I wouldn't know, sir. She's privileged. If she tried that shit in the country she came from, or one of these Arabic countries, that's a Islamic regime essentially. That's Islamic ran essentially. That's the law of the state based on the Quran. She'd be dead already. Mm-hmm. She'd be dead. So you're privileged to, essentially do that nasty shit, which I didn't pay for to watch. I tell you that right now. And we're privileged in this country, but that privilege is going away. So don't worry, we'll be right at the bottom of the barrel with a lot of other people. So don't feel bad at all. Their privilege is going away soon enough. Mm-hmm. Clock's ticking, ladies and gentlemen. No. But on the bright side, hey, at least we'll be equal. Well, most of us.
Well, the land will be equally leveled.
There you go. The ceiling will be lowered. The floor won't be raised, but the ceiling will be lowered. Mm-hmm. So you can just basically touch the glass ceiling on your tippy toes. Essentially.
That's terrible.
I don't know, man. That's where we're at, man. Like in that article I posted, the goddamn middle class lost thousands of dollars in yearly wages. The average American lost thousands of dollars in earning wages. I don't know how many millions but you know where that went to, right? Amazon, Walmart, all these other huge multinational corporations, it went there. That's where that money went. The largest transfer of wealth in American history. Mm-hmm. You thank the Fed as well for their hand and just printing out money like it's going out of fucking style. Really fucked up when they left the gold standard.
Yeah. What do they say? 40% of the money in circulation has been printed like in the last year? Something like that?
Yeah,
something crazy?
Something like that, yeah. Uh-huh.
That's wild. Mm-hmm. That's wild. And then when you shut down, small businesses, when you put these restrictions, these mom and pop things. Well, what's really crazy is that I don't know if you guys have been seeing articles like some in the Times, some in Business Insider, all these various places are saying, hey, it's not a blockade at the ports. It's not a lack of workers. It's because Americans are buying more stuff. That's why there's a shortage. Americans are buying more stuff with what money? With this rapid rise in inflation. Motherfuckers ain't been working like that. And people aren't there to make the items or to produce the items that you need. How are they buying more? Please explain it to me. And if they're buying more, then what's the point of having these extended eviction moratoriums? What is the point of having these, these extended government handouts and these things if people have more money to buy more stuff? Because this is what the Biden administration is saying. What's her name? Psaki is saying that Biden's saying that people are doing that with the more money that they have. Make it make sense because inflation is significantly higher than ever. Like I said, people are complaining this left and right. You see all these jobs where they're asking people to work, begging people to work. I was out doing a little dashing today. Went into a Burger King and they're like, they have signs on there saying, please bear with the workers because there's a nationwide shortage of workers. You go places, people are saying there's coin shortages. I was in a Red Lobster today. Only 2 people in there you might as well call it Dead Lobster. Because there was only 2 people in there working. Only 1 lobster was working. There was only 1 lobster working in the Red Lobster today. Like, that's what I say. That's how bad it was. I was like, what the fuck? I'm looking at the thing. Where are the lobsters? First, where are the employees? Now, where are the fucking lobsters? There's only 1 lobster, and I think he was missing a rubber band. Like, that's how bad shit has gotten, And yet, you have these motherfuckers at the top of the tower lying to you from their advertising. Oh, it's better than ever. Look at it. We're doing some, and people are eating that shit up because they get to go in the women's restrooms.
I got something for you.
What you got?
So the Washington Post, that storied newspaper, their tagline, "Democracy dies in darkness." I'm sure you're part of that darkness. So there was an opinion piece about these supply chain issues, and Mr. Cano was talking about all these bunches of shit's been sitting out in the goddamn sea in California, and they're right next to the ports for like 6 months or some shit, for months, essentially not getting these goods out to the public for whatever reason. Probably some COVID shit or something. So the opinion piece is labeled, "Don't rant about short-staffed stores and supply chain woes. You need to lower your expectations." That's what this genius said, and of course it's some goofy white liberal.
Yes.
I'm like, This is the kind of shit. This is peak journalism, ladies and gentlemen.
Sean, yeah, like you said, that like at the time what Dan said. Oh yeah, we're gonna lower our standards, all right, when when we start paying for the communism. They say the free trial right now. Oh yeah, when it really starts to kick in, and they fucking put you on that subscription plan, that premium communism. We're really gonna feel it. Like that's what I'm saying. You 6 months, but you want to get more and more people off the roads. You know, people are not gonna buy it. You know what else is a sad thing? I don't know if you've been seeing some of these videos that have been being posted, like with the teachers putting all their shoes in front of the schoolhouse, like all the people who resigned because they don't want the poke, the firemen who've been putting their boots in uniforms and things like that out there. I think there's been some nurses. It's been all over the country. You're seeing thousands and thousands of people who do, you know, difficult jobs, getting let go because they don't want to submit to the pokety poke. But yet you see certain airlines rescinding on those mandates that they tried to apply because people are not going for it, right? So it's pretty wild, man. Like it's I think, like I said, it's only just begun. It's so much more to come.
Oh yes. We have not yet begun to defile ourselves as a country. I promise you that. There's always new depths to this shit. And that they're speaking of low hanging fruit, Chicago, like Lori Lightfoot called the police officers who didn't want to get the jab insurrectionists. So I'm linking them to some January 6th shit, apparently. Wow. They love doing that shit because it's worse than 9/11, apparently.
They love code.
The only person who died in that was Ashley Babbitt. That girl got shot in the neck.
Yes.
It was fucked up. That's the only person who died in that shit. And they said some cop died there, supposedly, but he had a heart attack or some shit. He wasn't even there. This is the kind of gaslighting we're getting on a national scale by these giant news corporations who are owned by, like, the same 4 people. Who probably have the same neighborhood and gated community with literally armed guards and, you know, their 100-acre mansions. And that's just their summer home. And these are the people running the world right now. The fucking Illuminati patriots, what do you want to call it, Bilderberg. Now that I just saw these groups, guarantee that part gets cut out in the
It's gonna be like the last thing you'll hear is eating for breakfast, and then that's it. Fuck it. But yeah, I think they probably do. They probably meet up in their communities in the mornings and say, what are we gonna do to fuck over the people today? What are we gonna do to get them outraged? All right, we're gonna give them we're gonna fuck up the economy, but hey, we'll give them International Pronouns Day. You know, international pronouns, yet we're the only country who's entertaining any bullshit like this.
China ain't having none of that shit.
Absolutely.
I said, fuck all that. We'll fund it in your country through Hollywood, but we ain't having that shit in our country. Our military ain't playing no games. We launching space missiles. Japan, good luck. When they finally Taiwan, good luck. I bet if I say a certain country, if I say a certain land full of Chinese people is the country, I guarantee you they'll cut that part out of the country.
Dog, did you
guarantee that shit?
Did you see? Was it? I want to say it was the Chinese military thing, where they were showing their little military parade display. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't Chinese. It was the North Korea, I believe, and them motherfuckers were fucking breaking bricks, like running and jump kicking fucking bricks and doing all kind of wild shit, breaking shit, like getting like shit smashed over their hands and then doing their little shit. Like it was the craziest fucking shit. I'm like, man, they got these badass fucking action figures and we got animes and transgender pride army people. Like that's what we got. You know, it's super crazy, man. So again, it's a wild world that we live in. But hey, I'm here for the show.
Yeah. Yes, sir. But before I leave, a little thing on privilege. Oh, great! They launched the advanced missiles today too. I mean, if Big Daddy China does it, they might as well join in too. They're like China Junior, North Korea, essentially. Except they went full retard. They went full communist. China has like a mixed communist market economy, but I hear they're walking away from the market economy. I think I mentioned that a few calls ago about how like they're seizing funds from some of these companies have gotten huge. It's getting interesting.
Yeah.
And this might clash with some of their globalist allies who've been, essentially eroding Western civilization. So there might be some issues with globalists here and then China there and their little axis of whatever that is, axis of communism. So that should be very interesting. There should be some very interesting wars in the next few decades. I hope I don't live to see them, but my niece and nephews will, which troubles me because they have to live through that shit. I mean, so I got to stay as long as possible to look out for them. That's my resolve now.
And
at this point,
yeah, the kids will have to, pay the dues for our decisions.
Yeah, as they usually do. As you do. Poor kids go fight rich man's war, essentially. But privilege. I think there's varying kinds of privilege. But I don't think necessarily in terms of privilege. I think right now, I think the guy was right earlier. Right now, there's black people have a lot of privilege. Use it wisely. Are we going to use it wisely? I doubt it.
No.
I doubt it.
Why would we do that?
But see, this privilege is propped up. It's not a privilege of like things we've actually accomplished. It's not a privilege of things that we strive for in our communities. It's more a privilege of like things that people who have been dead for decades went through. I think it's a privilege of oppression privilege. Because of our history of our ancestors in this country and some of the tragedies and traumas they went through, and they were traumas. I'm not one of these people who say like, oh, slavery wasn't that bad. I think that's extremely ridiculous. But what some of these people won't admit is that we're not the ones who went through slavery, our ancestors. So I don't believe that alone, because people get mad about that and say, oh, this nigga's a coon. I've admitted I'm a coon, so what you gonna do about it? Talk your shit, go ahead. That's not gonna hurt me anymore. I don't give a fuck about that shit. I don't give a fuck about a piece of black people, white people. Maybe I want to get Japanese citizenship maybe one day if I get money to get the fuck out of here. I don't want to offend Japanese people because Japan's awesome. And that's about it, really. And Spanish people is whatever. I don't know, But yeah, man. So I think if it's a privilege based on things you've earned, then I respect that. Correct. Like people in the military have certain privileges if they've been there longer. Not necessarily that was a good thing, because it might be a shitbag just know how to coast the system for 20 years. But somebody who earned their right to talk their shit had no respect for people like that. But if it's a privilege based on something that other people propped up for you, it's built on a foundation of sand. Sure. And eventually it's going to crumble. And y'all motherfuckers going to be still smelling your farts when they didn't pass the oppression privilege crown to someone else. And it's kind of happening now. Because you can't have one oppression champion. There can't be two gold medals. Right now you have black people, you have the LGBT community. Now they're trying to mix them to like the rainbow BLM flag. I've seen that shit. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Because some of the BLM members ain't happy about that. No, they're not. No, they are not.
Well,
black is the new gay, shit like that. They ain't happy about that. But this is what you signed up for. You signed up for the oppression Olympics. This is what you asked for. Mother, eat your cake, motherfucker. Eat the goddamn cake. Eat it. Eat that shit. So so privilege isn't necessarily a bad thing. If you earned it, on stuff you did, your acumen, your strength, stuff like that. But if it's privilege based on like just propped up on a bunch of negative bullshit, then you know what? Good luck. Yeah. Good luck to you. I hope that works out well for you. And that's really all I got, man. A Russian army commercial, they ain't playing, bro. Chinese army, Russian army. Goddamn, the Polish army be smoking motherfuckers right now, bro. Poland's on some real nationalism shit. I ain't talking about I ain't talking about them brown coats back in the 1940s in Germany. I'm talking about caring about your borders and your people, and I respect that. I wish certain countries like the one we live in acted like that, but they don't. So good luck to us. That's all I got to say. That's it. Nothing wrong with protecting your own borders. Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing at all.
Nothing. Exactly.
That's it, man.
All right. Well, shout out to Dan the man. As always, it never fails. Dan with the excellent calls, the excellent views, and I cannot disagree, man. Look, let me know how that Japanese citizenship works. I might need to try to get me some of that. I'm gonna have to start picking up a couple of extra languages. They may notice I look a little bit different. Maybe I can get a little cake soap and fit in one of those weird Japanese communities where they like all the black shit. Listen to some of that Japanese trap music or something. Maybe I can.
Oh, man, that's Tokyo, man.
Oh,
that's Tokyo and Hiroshima. Hell yeah, man. Get it in there, bro. They got whole prefectures, or was it districts in Tokyo? They had like a Shibuya, Roppongi. That's the crazy part. Roppongi crazy as shit. I almost went, but then they canceled it because of some dumb shit. Long story. Anyway, that's all I got, man. Y'all be safe, man. Just, good luck. That's all I gotta say. How you doing, Sarah?
Oh, yes, lovely,
man.
Y'all
be safe, man.
That's the best. Shout out to Dan, the motherfucking man with the plan. I appreciate you for joining us this night. Oh, man. Doc, this video here that I'm showing, I think this is the North Korean shit that I was talking about, right? This is what I say. You go to war with these motherfuckers versus our soldiers. But see, the thing is now, our wars aren't necessarily fought the same, you know what I mean? But if it was, all I gotta do now is come and ask our soldiers, well, hey, again, no disrespect to the military, but y'all know who I'm speaking of when I say this. All I gotta do is ask certain soldiers, what kind of genitals do you have? Be so concerned with that, they won't even want to fight anymore. If they would be fighting in the first place, if they're not recovering from some various forms of surgery. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling into the den this evening?
What's up, Honcho? It's all an illusion.
Illusion, what's the motherfucking deal? How you doing this evening, sir?
I'm good, bro. You have another banger of a stream. Really get to the core of this bullshit that we got going on. Man, and I got onto the Discord to try to talk to Dan about that article he posted about the middle class pretty much disappearing. But he was talking to Miss Bell, and they started getting on some nerd shit. I didn't even understand what they were talking about. So I didn't really get to talk to him about it. But yeah, man, that's a big deal for 50% of people to have brought in less than a livable wage as they were working. I mean, they got subsidized this year. You know what I mean? They got plenty of little checks, especially if they have some little bastard brew at the house that they're just claiming on their taxes and shit.
Straight up.
Then they got some nice checks. But I mean, you're literally watching our way of life fall completely apart. And that shit is crazy that it don't bother nobody. I mean, and it does bother people, but like collectively. And that thing that I posted earlier in the super chat, that strong men make easy times make weak men, and weak men create tough times, or tough times create strong men, whatever it was. That's really what we're seeing. Like, you guys were joking about paternity leave, and paternity leave, I don't have a problem with it because my job does it. So if I had a baby, I'd be able to get off. But and actually, Big M just had number 3 a couple nights ago.
Oh, he did? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Good deal.
So he's on paternity leave for 6 weeks. But at the end of the day, we've got the lines so blurred that men don't even realize they should love freedom. Collectively, men do not realize that they should love freedom. You know, they do things in the name of safety. They do things in the name of security. But at the end of the day, only you can ensure the safety and security of yourself and your family. And men have forgot that freedom, and that's why the lady from Africa in that one video, and whenever you talk about like the Cuban Americans, people that actually left communism, that's why they love freedom so much, because they know what it's like not to have that shit. So men that keep complying and saying they're doing it for their family, you're doing nothing but destroying any future your children can have. So you should stop that shit.
I agree with that.
Now, privilege, I think there's only 2 privileges that exist right now. And it's being a liberal woman, I think, is number 1. And then identifying at all with any portion of the alphabet gang is the second privilege. There's no such thing as male privilege. There are some cases of white privilege, just like there's some cases of, as that person had pointed out in that video, black privilege, and there's other privileges, but they all counteract in some way or another. The only one that doesn't get countered is the liberal woman. Her privileges will never be stopped until this shit crashes, and then they'll be lining up in droves trying to find a man to go be with.
I think you're starting to see a little bit of, I don't think in mass, but I think that you're starting to see little by little, especially like you're saying, with people losing money and things like that. I think little by little, some women, not the majority, some women are starting to wake up.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that they'll start waking up more and more, but a lot of people got to go. So it's not intended for them all to wake up. It's not intended for all men to wake up. Because people think that we're going in this direction where the liberals are going to destroy our country, right? That's not what we're going through. What we're going through is them getting us set up into socialism. And then once they've had socialism set up, they've got to go through and wipe out a bunch of people, right? Because right now we're having an issue with resources. So they got to go wipe out a bunch of people. And then after those people are wiped out, you'll have a little bit of a mode of survival of the fittest. And that shit is going to look like a Handmaid's Tale. Like, these people are not going to wake up one day and live in this utopia that they're searching for, where everyone is equal and everyone can eat whatever they want and wear whatever they want and live wherever they want and be with whoever they want and sleep with whoever they want. That shit'll never work. And so after they crash the economy, the rebuild is going to look like a Handmaid's Tale because China's going to be in charge of it. And you can't even be a soft man and be on the internet in China.
Correct.
So what do you think they're going to do here and everywhere else?
Oh, they're preparing them for the wipeout. That's what they're trying to soften us up. Yeah, y'all keep doing that shit. They ain't gonna have no problem wiping niggas out of here.
No, not at all. And so, like, the intention is for those two groups to have all the privilege. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are going to start to come together under what we're going through. And a lot of people aren't going to have it figured out, bro. Like you see on TikTok all day, you see these chunky, hick-looking dudes doing all this shit, trying to make it look like they're ready for that life. But they're like fat. They're half drunk all the time. You know what I mean? Like, they make videos about their wife and they're not ready. Most people are not ready. Like, bro, you have never got shot back at. You can hunt. You might be a great shot at 6:30 in the morning with no one else outside and you've been watching an animal for 12 hours. You might be able to do that. But that animal's going to shoot back at you in what you think you're ready for. And so a lot of people, like Dan was saying earlier, we're going to see the wheat separated from the tares, and there's going to be a harvest.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the video. It's very interesting. It's a black dude, or he appears to be black, got like a full beard and everything. They're at the gun range. And it's looks like 4 or 5 of the white guys in the background. And this dude's going off. He's got a few different weapons on him. And, he's shooting them, he's changing them up, and he's switching. And it's like he's on some futuristic soldier-looking shit. And all the other white guys, they're like almost stop shooting. And they're staring at him. Like, watch him. And if you see it in slow motion, I'm going to try to find it and see if I can pull it up. But you see it in slow motion, it's very interesting. The demeanor that they all have, Now, it may just be coincidental, but it looks very odd to me that they responded the way they did. I would just figure, hey, let that man do his business and, you continue doing whatever it is that you're doing, whatever you're working on. But, yeah, it looks real crazy. Let me see if I can pull that up.
This dude can't ever do nothing by himself. Hold on one second. Sorry. No, you don't need to separate them because Kobisa is already off. So just let it run the way it's running. As long as we got 715 in Santa Fe, we're good. Okay. All right. My bad, bro. My bad.
No, you're good. I think actually I did find it.
But yeah, you were saying you were wondering what these other dudes were doing, like just staring at them.
Yeah.
Well, there's probably a multitude of reasons. I'm sure some of them are like, look at this black dude shooting like this. Some of them might have thought he was a gangbanger. You know what I mean? Because let's be real, racism exists. Yeah. But some of them are probably like, damn, I can't do that. And because a lot of them can't, bro, like, it's way different than just going to Cabela's and buying shit. Like, it's got to be something you've really got to be. If you're going to take that route, you don't have to take that route. You could stay in the house. And if they come for you, you know, whatever happens, happens. Or you could comply. And then they'll kill you themselves, like, through your safety, through maybe something they put in your body. Who knows? But, yeah. Oh, you got it up now?
Yeah. I just find it very peculiar that the way that they seem to be responding to him. Now again, he's out there with the shades on, all black. You can make a lot of assumptions through this video, right? I mean, a lot of different things. But I just find it very interesting, kind of the way they responded, and that they're looking at him funny. And slow motion makes things super funny.
See what I mean, bro? And those are the dudes that are on TikTok right now, playing some country song in the background with the flag behind them, acting like they're ready to lay down their life for the red, white, and blue, bro. Like, first of all, people need to let it go. It's done. America's done. We got a good ride out of her. You know, America's like any whore. You treat her like a taxi cab, bro. You get in, you enjoy the ride. You get out of the taxi, you pay your dues, the taxi's gone. Don't grow an emotional attachment to the taxi. You need to go get your own car. You got your ride from America. It was fun, but you know, like any reckless whore, she spent all our money, and she spent it on shit she wasn't supposed to. And now the truth is catching up with her, and it's over.
So you jump to the guy, black's likely veteran or mark. And I'm not saying that they're doing anything in particularly race. I'm just pointing out the demographics of the individuals involved, and that I find it interesting in the way that they appear to be responding to the situation. But if you were to guess and assume who is more ready in this video, well, I think we have a slight idea.
Yeah, because that's how they're looking at him. They're looking at him like, what's he training for? Bitch, everything you say you're ready for. How about that? But yeah, Honcho, I don't know about this whole privilege shit. Everybody has, like they've been saying, if you were born an American, everybody has a certain level of privilege. Because as much as I'm done with her. I never got so attached to her that I can't let her go. But I wouldn't have wanted to be raised anywhere else. I wouldn't wanted to have been born anywhere else. I'm glad I was born here so I could do all the stupid shit I did.
Yes.
And learn all the crazy shit I learned in my life.
Yes.
And now it's time to move on to the next chapter.
I agree. Like I said, it took a while for me to see some of those things. Like I said, I was washed in some of the mentalities, but you know, when things finally click, people need to realize how fortunate the shit that they say and do. Like you said, any other country, even like Dan mentioned, any other country, you try to pull off a slight bit of the shit that you can get away with this country and walk freely and not be ostracized for or killed, stoned, hung. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you have to be grateful for that. But, you know, people only look at what's above them, not what's below them. And so they can only see what they feel like they're missing out on, not everything that they have and possess and what they're actually, you know, been blessed with. But you know, it's just human nature.
Yeah, for sure. And everybody, all things have to be revealed before it's all done. That's the only way everything's going to work. You know what I mean? All things are going to come to light as this whole transition happens. But, you know, the days of thinking that you're oppressed in America are going to come to an end because you're stupid. Like in China, if they don't want you to have babies, you won't have babies. They're not over there marching for the right to kill their children. They want the right to have their children. That's a whole different thing, bro. And like, even if you were involved in stupid street shit, for some of that stuff, for you doing that kind of stuff to your community, you'll be killed. You might have your hands cut off. You might go, you know what I mean? Like, But you don't get to just go to prison for 7 years and make an album about it.
No.
Like, you will suffer severe consequences for that shit. So,
yeah, because who's the
hopefully,
is it the Philippines, the new president they got? I want to say it's the Philippines or one of those countries over there. And his deal is if you are caught with drugs, it's a automatic death sentence. They don't give a fuck what it is. Like they're you getting worn out for it. Shit, motherfuckers got in their houses on every other block would be a fucking death sentence. But
yeah, and they don't have paid government agencies dropping them off in neighborhoods either. You know, so like it's all. We were a huge experiment. America was, and then we generated one of the biggest culture machines in world history, and so a lot of places started following after us. We were just a whore. It was our turn to be the whore of Babylon. But I suggest, because all this shit happens over and over and over and over. This is just our turn. So I would suggest that men start divorcing this whore amicably. Not as she wants to let you go, you let her go. Don't fight her. Don't take her to court. Don't try to make things come your way. Let that bitch go. Let her fuck who she's gonna fuck. Don't worry about who she's out there with. Let her go.
I'm with it. I'll take this guy out of here.
Well, this stream killed it, man. This stream killed it tonight, Honcho. And you were going in earlier about about how when black people are basically wishing they're white.
Yes. Yeah. Oh man.
But a lot of people don't want to hear that.
No, and that's the one thing that I'm gonna be honest about shit. And that's the type of shit motherfuckers call you coons for and all that shit. Like, let's be real. I see it. I know envy and jealousy. I've heard women speak. I've heard men speak behind closed doors, things they won't say in public. Things that they probably regret actually admitting. And the behavior suggested too. Now, it's a lot of this shit is jealousy. It's a lot of people you say, well, if I was white, this would never happen. And secretly, you're saying you are envious and you wish that you were that. You would trade it in. Motherfuckers sit and say, I'd stay black forever. I'd never change. You don't have a choice. So it sounds like a good thing to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have a choice. Like you roll the dice. You came out what you came out. You don't have no say so, of course. So yeah, if I could, you can't. So it just sounds good. But it is what it is. But,
yeah, bro. A lot of people aren't ready for that conversation. There's a lot of but these things are going to have to be had. Mm-hmm. So even if only 2 or 3 people pop in after this is off and catch part of it and take it to heart, bro, it was worth it.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'd rather the genuine growth. I'd rather the genuine people who actually, like what we talk about here, the conversation we actually have, as opposed to trying to just attract motherfuckers for some any old thing. Like it's hard for me to jump on that bandwagon because it's a lot of shit I genuinely don't give a shit about. You know what I mean? And it's just like, so to me, I'd rather just have these conversations on evergreen topics, things that we're really going to be dealing with for the next little while until, a big shift happens.
Right. Yeah. And it's coming. So get ready upstairs first.
Yeah.
And then try to get your body ready in the meantime.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, Honcho. It was a pleasure talking to you tonight.
Man, shout out to Mr. Illusion, man. As always, great conversation. So I'm glad you were able to call in.
Thanks, bro. Be blessed.
All right, you too. You have a good evening, sir.
You too.
Shout out to Mr. It's All an Illusion. Shout out to Mr. Dan the Man. But as y'all know, it is about that time. Well, it's true. Like I say, we're in an age where we're in a time where you just got to see things. You know what I mean? And I've said it 1,000 times before. I have Jehovah's Witness privilege. Like, what the fuck you talking about, Honcho? It's because there's a lot of shit I don't buy into that, people try to make seem social norms or, like try to cause human that I just cannot. And it's just like I see certain things from a distance. Now, my problem is, am I acting on these things as efficiently as I should be? And I can honestly say, not quite. But all I will say is, as this final countdown comes, I got about What's today? What's today? Today is the 21st. What we got? 10 days and left in October. Or today's 20th. So 11 days. We got what? November is what? 30? December. So what is that? 72. And then 20, 99. 99 days. In 99 days. Expect some changes, right? Expect to see things much more differently. But as until then, we're gonna keep on rocking the free world, right? And again, like I say, it might be personal change, it might be things that might not even be super noticeable, but it's going down. That's all I'm gonna say. But again, let me get ready to wind it up. We do a thing in here that I have not been doing like I should. And so tonight, let's do that. The after party in the Discord. We haven't done that in quite some time. Usually, I've been just kind of signing off, but we can rock in the Discord for a little bit. I'm not gonna be on there for a long, long time, but let's chop it up. Let's keep the conversation going. So if you're up, you want to chop it up in the Discord, make sure you follow through. I'll put the link in there. Do I still got it up? I'll put the link in there. That's on the screen. And like I said, we can continue the conversation. Let me see. Continue the conversation, and we will. All right. Where is that bitch? There it is, right here. We'll put the link in there for those who don't know, and then, like I say, we'll swap it out. Oh, damn, they didn't change so much of this nonsense up. There we go. Make it limited, just so about 5 years, something be more than that. 6 hours. And there we go. And we put that in the chat. These are all things I should do before the stream starts, but hey, play us fuck up. There's that. If you want to join the Discord, there's the link. I encourage you to do it, man. We have some great conversations there from time to time. We did have a good Discord that hadn't done it in a while. A Dash in Discord, and we had some great conversations today. This is a conversation we need to talk about. I think Man Up brought it up today. Trill had a very good suggestion. I think it's a conversation we need to have. Maybe tomorrow we might bring it up. We'll ruffle some feathers. But with that being said, I appreciate each and every one of you. Call it a wrap. Until mañana, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. And, take care of yourselves, man. Whatever you got going on out there, make a smart decision. I want to see y'all here tomorrow evening. Well.